Here at 411 Outdoors, we love fighting knives. And because we love fighting knives, we love KABAR. Well, KABAR has finally given you all what you've been asking for, and that is a full tang version of their knife. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Slabby. Stick around. Something you may have observed over the last few months is that I have gotten away from traditional reviewing on my channel. If I review a piece of gear now, it's because I wanted to review that gear. It's something that I plan on using. It's something that I personally wanted. What I've gotten away from is companies calling me and saying, hey, can you review our knife? And that is because I've been focused more on the subject matter around defensive tactics, situational awareness, and various life strategies. But there are many tools that accompany those subjects, such as fighting knives. And here is the Slabby from KABAR. I must admit, I wasn't a big fan of that name, but you know, it comes from slab construction, which is full tang. When KABAR released their video about this knife, a lot of people were in the comments screaming about it being $250. I didn't pay $250 for this. I got this and the sheath, which we'll talk about in a little bit, for $186. One of the main features of the Slabby is that it's built to be more all-purpose. If you need a fighting knife, you got a nice one. That's a fighting beauty. It's got all of the reinforcements that you need. It's got the build, but this is also built for some heavy-duty work out here in the bush. Now, if y'all want to do that kind of work with your Slabby, go ahead. I'm not going to do any of that work in this video. I want to keep this thing pretty for a while. If you've ever had a KABAR knife, or if you know anything about KABAR, you know these blades come sharp, very sharp. Now, although this is full tang, there is a cutout in the middle of this. So it's more full tang than the traditional KABAR knife, but there is a cutout. KABAR shows you what the tang on these blades looks like. Now, a lot of people who purchased this knife have already reached out to Carol's Custom Scales. He does great work. They've gotten, you know, different color scales put on this, and that is an option as well. Let's look at the sheath. I've got a few things to say about it. Now, one thing I'll say, you've got a great lock-in and you've got a great thumb release right here. It's just a great lock-in, and it's kind of an aerated sheath, meaning that you can rinse this out. You can put water down in here to rinse out a lot of sand and gook that gets down in there, and it can come out of the side there. So it's a nice aerated sheath, which you can also dry out a lot easier. Now, there are going to be some attachment options for the sheath available. When I ordered this, this was all I got, just the sheath like this. Now, something I would do with this one in particular is get me two thick black zip ties, one right here and then another one right here, and I would scout carry this right across my back. This is a heavier knife and not necessarily the biggest fan of it hanging off of the side, but it works well for scout carry, just like some of these big Tom Brown trackers. They mount right to your back, and they need to because they're heavier. I did go out and order a very standard leather sheath for it, just kind of a generic sheath. Looks like the KABAR sheath, but it's for 7-inch knives. This blade length is 6.87 inches, I believe. KABAR uses the 1095 Crowvan steel. Now, this blade profile is a little bit wider than the traditional. I'll be straightforward with you. I wasn't looking for a full tang version of the KABAR knife. I have always loved KABAR knives the way they are. They have served individuals in the armed forces for decades on end and done fine. I have beaten KABAR knives to death, and they just hold up. Now, if you're bent on destroying a KABAR knife, you can do it. You can destroy any knife you want to. If you want to put it in a device where hundreds of pounds of pressure are pulling on the tang, you can bend the tang. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I could drive a semi-truck through my front door and say these front doors suck. But if an already great brand wants to step up their game, I'm all for it. Now, I like the handle. I like the handle a lot. I like that I can get my hand around it. I've got some fixed blades, man. The handle's like that big around. You got to have banana fingers and mammoth hands just to hold some of these blades. I could name a few, but I won't. But I'm glad that I can get my hand around this handle, because that means in a fight, I can maintain it better. I do have protection on both ends, and I have a nice pommel right here. You can see the tang on the bottom there as well. Now, this handle does have some length, and for most people, they're going to have some room. You got some guys with paws that will fill this entire space up. If If you've got a double XL, you'll fill that entire space up. But most people have some wiggle room here, and you can choke up on the end of this for more length in your slicing. And you've got adequate protection here. Now, with the way this one's designed, the guard doesn't come all the way out right here, so you can use it more for bushcrafting tasks if you want to. I will say this as well. It doesn't matter how much people think something is overpriced. There's plenty of other people that's willing to buy it. A lot of times, knives that people believe are overpriced are your best sellers, man. I've reviewed knives for some custom makers. They constantly stay sold out. And that's because people decide for themselves what the value of something is. Many are saying 1095 Crowvan steel should not be priced that way. Well, I don't think it's about the steel. I think it's about the name. I think it's about KABAR. It's about the reputation. I hate to say this, but KABAR could have charged 300 bucks for this knife. People are still going to buy it. That's just the way it is. Am I saying I agree with the price point? No, not necessarily. I always want things to be cheaper in price. Who doesn't? But it just doesn't work that way with reputable brands. And for those who say we need to purchase USA goods, well, you're going to pay more for USA goods. There's some great China-made fixed blades, but I don't personally value them or treasure them as much as I do my USA blades like KABAR. Let's talk about knife fighting styles. As much as I love reverse grip, the bigger your knife gets, the more you're going to be in a traditional position, because it's just going to be easier to wield it than it is a big knife this way. But a big knife like this can be wielded successfully in the traditional grip. It's got reach, lots of reach. And this one's going to have a lot of power in the slice because it's weighty. Traditional grip doesn't limit you to slicing because there's still thrusting. For those who like their hit-the-fan knife, a Slabby from KABAR is a good hit-the-fan knife. It's solid. It is going to have that more solid tang for those of you who like to use your knife as a hatchet. Personally, I like the all-black look. That's me. I love black stuff. I mean, every time you see me, I'm wearing a black t-shirt. I joke with my wife every day and talk about how my uniform is black t-shirts and jeans most days. So I like black, and I like that look. There may be times where I'll put some goon tape on this just to give it a little bit more grip, but I like the look of the scales already. In closing, I will tell you I have sold a lot of knives from my collection, and the knives that I want in my collection are becoming fewer in number. I just am getting to the point to where I know what gear that I like, I know what I want to have around, and I've been selling off a lot of extra things, especially as my channel has been moving away from the traditional review system. But I have my blades that I use, and I have my blades that I admire. Right now, I'm just going to admire this one. I'm just going to have it. I'm just going to admire it. I'm going to enjoy having it in my collection because it's a historical staple at this point. This is a new thing for KABAR. The Slabby from KABAR Knives, ladies and gentlemen. Love it, hate it, it's here. And I think it's pretty awesome. Take care.